Gugma sa Kabataan was founded in 1994 by German theologian Thomas Wendel under the name Balay sa Gugma Street Children Project. During his visit to the south of the Philippines, Thomas couldn't help but notice the lack of rights of street children, upon which he founded Balay sa Gugma, which means House of Love. Gugma sa Kabataan is registered as a non-profit organization in the Philippines that cares for neglected children who are forced to make a living on the streets. For this purpose, Gugma Street Kids in Munich, Germany works hand-in-hand with Gugma sa Kabataan to raise funds to support and sustain the initiative since its inception. Together, both organizations operate to improve the future of the marginalized children in the city of Cagayan de Oro. The organization's mission is to work with the street children in providing opportunities to be integrated in family, school, and labor. It envisions to provide an empowering place for street children to enjoy survival, development, protection, and participation towards a transforming community with hope, faith, and love. Lastly, its goals and objectives is to prevent children from choosing the street to be their home or place of livelihood, to provide training and skills that are needed to be self-reliant, to reestablish contacts with their families, and to provide alternative schools that will update information and knowledge. Behind the organization is a dedicated and hardworking core staff. At the head of the organizational chart is Mr. Jonah Domingo, the executive director of the project. He is responsible for overseeing the day-to-day operations, ensuring that goals are met. Working alongside him is Ms. Divine Grace Dagang, a full-time community worker who maintains contact with the children's environment and takes on administrative tasks. Her role is crucial in ensuring that the organization runs smoothly and that the children receive the support they need. Next, we also have Ms. Rosalie Magamay, or Ate Bebe, who serves as the part-time cook. She is responsible for providing healthy and nutritious meals for the children, ensuring that they receive the energy they need to grow and thrive. In addition to the core staff, Gugma sa Kabataan receives support from volunteers. This includes young people from the project who take on certain tasks for pocket money, as well as voluntary unpaid helpers from CDO and abroad. At the heart of Gugma sa Kabataan is the Board of Trustees. Its chairman is Ms. Iluminada Domingo, also known as Minda. Its vice chairman is Ms. Christine Aliza, an engineer and longtime member of the board. Its secretary is Mr. Bobby Paler, a pastor of the United Church of the Philippines. The treasurer is Ms. Carites Q. Kea, the head of the Cagayan Chamber of Commerce. Its auditor is Ms. Kathleen Ann Castillon, a former accountant of Gugma sa Kabataan. All members of the board work voluntarily in deep commitment and dedication to Gugma.
Gugma Day Center is located at Youth Bachelor Pad, Barangay 17, Magsaysay del Pilar Street, Cagayan de Oro, Philippines. Gugma sa Kabataan offers a community, educational, and shelter space for street children. The programs are guided by the 3 P's of the children's right: protection, provision, and participation. They are programs about education, health, nutrition, and family and community. Gugma sa Kabataan provides opportunities for children to attend regular schooling. They provide such as expenses paid schooling and school uniforms, offer tutorial classes in English, mathematics, and science, workshop for art, and educational trip and summer camp. In terms of health, Gugma sa Kabataan program aimed to improve physical, psychological, and mental health. By doing so, they provided services and approaches to cater to children. Feeding programs from Tuesday to Saturday in order to continuously rehabilitate malnutrition, medical and dental assistance for the detection and prevention of chronic diseases, therapy through art and outlet for creative and artistic expression of emotion, and lastly, counseling for individual, group, and family therapy. For nutrition, Gugma sa Kabataan has a significant goal of combating malnutrition and ensuring that children have adequate and balanced diet. Breakfast is served to the children every day thanks to the generosity of the local cooperative FICO. On Sunday and Monday, the center is closed. However, the children can receive a large food package on Saturday, ensuring that they are also taken care of for these 2 days. For family and community, every child's well-being is strongly influenced by the situation in the family and the environment. Thus, Gugma sa Kabataan provides opportunities for parents to increase their household income. That parents are informed about the possibility of so-called TESDA training, help parents apply for small loan to open sa sari-sari store. Overall, Gugma sa Kabataan programs entail common goals, which is to provide all the essential needs such as food, clothes, medical support, and schooling, in case their families cannot assure these basic needs. Gugma sa Kabataan is currently looking after 38 children, 10 in elementary school ages 6 to 10 years old, 10 in junior high school ages 11 to 16, 9 in senior high school ages 17 to 18, and 9 in college age 19 and above. Since Gugma sa Kabataan have been around for nearly 30 years, many of the children they have helped have received their diplomas and are now able to support themselves.
The SFAS 117 requires reporting of net assets in the Statement of Financial Position according to the following classifications, namely unrestricted net assets, temporarily restricted net assets, and permanently restricted net assets. In the financial position of Gugma sa Kabataan, under asset, the line item cash, which consists of the amount deposited to PNB or cash in bank, can be used for the day-to-day transactions as specified in the Notes to Financial Statements number 3, which will be discussed later on. With that, cash can be assumed as unrestricted net asset. The office furniture and equipment can also be assumed as unrestricted net assets since there is no specified classification for this line item. Under the deferral method, restricted contributions are initially recognized as liabilities. Thus, the line item deferred grant and support is a temporarily restricted net asset. That being said, if the condition is fulfilled for this line item, this will become a revenue. The fund balance or the equity of the NPO is the difference between assets and liabilities as reflected in the financial position of Gugma sa Kabataan. Total liabilities plus total fund balance results in the total liabilities and fund balance.
Discussing the statement of activities and changes in net assets require the conformance to SFAS 116, which classifies contributions based on donors' restrictions. It could either be unrestricted, temporarily restricted, or permanently restricted. In the statement of activities of Gugma sa Kabataan, there exists no specific classification as to the donations they receive for the period of 2019 and 2020. Thus, it can be assumed that all of these are unrestricted donations. Second, SFAS 117 requires expenses to be presented according to their function, namely the program services and supporting activities. Here, their expenses were classified according to its function. The line items under program services refer to the activities which result in services being distributed to the beneficiaries of the NPO, while the activities other than program services such as the general and administrative expenses are those referred to as supporting activities. Thus, total revenue less total direct costs and expenses results in the change in net assets balance or the program net surplus during the period as presented on the NPO Statement of Activities and change in net assets.
Gugma sa Kabataan Statement of Changes in Fund Balances conform to the standards needed as it includes an opening balance, a closing balance, and the income earned throughout the year. The statement shows a large amount of net surplus during the year 2020 in comparison to the year 2019. This is caused by the company's low operating expense in its operations despite earning a considerably high amount of revenue during the year 2020, as shown in its statement of revenue and expense. This is a good sign for the organization as it invites more opportunities because of a high amount of fund balance.
As for the presentation of cash flows of the company, Cash flows from or used in operating activities are presented using the direct method. Their operating activities demonstrate that their main source of income is from the assistance and subsidies from other organizations, such as cash flows from Germany and cash inflows from fundraising efforts and from other local donors. Additionally, it displays their cash disbursement from operations that resulted from the distribution of goods and services to the beneficiaries, which fulfill the purpose or mission of the organization. This included the cost of staff directly involved with the service. Apart from that, Gugma sa Kabataan Incorporated only engages in operating and investing activities. Financing activities are not part of the company's operations. Their financing activities only involve the acquisition of property, plant, and equipment for the year 2019. Lastly, since Germany's cash inflows were already received in their functional or presentation currency, there is no need to translate the funds using the spot exchange rate or to disclose exchange rate differences in the cash flows.
Here, I will be discussing the notes to financial statements of Gugma sa Kabataan Incorporated. First, for general information and nature of operations, Gugma sa Kabataan Incorporated, or the Love for Children, is a non-stock, non-profit organization founded in December 2004, which was duly registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission on May 5, 2002, with registration number CN205272120. Second, for the summary of significant accounting policies, the financial statements have been prepared in conformity with accounting policies generally accepted in the Philippines, using historical cost basis except for revaluation of certain property, plant, and equipment. The accounting principles followed in use include Philippine Accounting Standards 101 as a non-publicly accountable entity, and partly by the following: Philippine Accounting Standards 1, 8, 10, 16, 24, 36, 2, 7, and 18. Also, there is a use of management to make estimates and assumptions that affect the amounts reported in the financial statements. Furthermore, the useful life of each of the company's property or equipment is estimated based on the period over which asset expected to be available for use. For asset impairment, any resulting impairment loss shall be charged to operations. Its carrying amounts are reviewed at each balance sheet date. For functional and presentation currency, the said FS are presented in Philippine peso. For revenue recognition, revenues from transactions of the company are recognized on a cash basis. For cash and cash equivalents, it includes cash on hand and in banks. Furthermore, receivables, if any, are valued at face value net of allowance for doubtful accounts and any anticipated adjustments. For inventories, they are stated at acquisition cost, where cost is determined by the first in, first out method. On the other hand, property and equipment are carried at cost less accumulated depreciation and impairment in value. The said depreciation is computed using the straight line method and was revalued at 30% of the original asset value. For costs and expenses, those that are not directly attributable to capitalizable assets or projects are recognized and charged to operations as incurred. Here, these are the breakdowns of the cash and cash equivalents, grants and support, and deferred grants and support, which are discussed earlier. For other disclosures, their program expenses include the direct program cost that result in the distribution of goods and services and the cost of staff directly involved with the service. In addition, their general and administrative expenses include the supporting services, which consists of staff administrative functions and other administrative expenses. There were no related party transactions and events after the balance sheet date. Lastly, in accordance with revenue regulation, they disclose the taxes, duties, and licenses fees paid or accrued during the taxable years amounted 21,612 pesos in 2020 and 12,570 pesos in 2019.
Now, how can we be of help? We can all make a difference by supporting these organizations in any way we can. First, donations. Even with a single donation, you can do great things. However, regular contributions are important for Gugma sa Kabataan, as the operation of their projects are mainly financed by donations. Second, sponsorship. As a personal sponsor, you help with a monthly donation to cover the essential needs of the Gugma kids, such as foods, medicines, and schooling. By this way, you give them the chance for a good perspective. Third, volunteering. The help of international volunteers has become an essential element of Gugma's work in recent years. The volunteers can take on a variety of tasks and gain valuable experience for themselves. Did you know, if a fine is imposed in court, judges and prosecutors can decide which organization the money goes to, provided that it is listed in the higher regional court. Gugma sa Kabataan is part of this list, so we can only need a judge or a prosecutor who considers Gugma Street Kids EV in such a case.
You see, there are a lot of opportunities to help Gugma sa Kabataan. Together, we can help alleviate the burden that these children were forced to bear and give them a chance for a better future. Even small contributions can make a big difference to the lives of those who need it most. And always remember that you are lucky.
You are lucky because you can volunteer your time, skills, and expertise to make a difference in the lives of others.
You are lucky because you can use your platforms and influence to raise awareness and inspire others to get involved in charitable causes.
You are lucky because you can lead by example and encourage others to practice generosity, kindness, and empathy towards those in need.
You are lucky because you understand that giving back to our communities is not only a privilege, but also a responsibility, and actively seek ways to make a positive impact on the world.
You are lucky because you have the resources to support organizations like Gugma sa Kabataan and help children in need.
And you are lucky to help those kids, help Gugma sa Kabataan.
For every child